wonderful young person. I've known Theland ever since he was a little boy, and oftentimes we ask, how is this young person or person going to grow up and continue adding to their beautiful potential? And Theland has been a wonderful example of given the right tools and given the right mentorship and given encouragement and love, our young people can not only succeed but completely thrive in such an uncertain time. Theland is an Indigenous youth who uses his voice to spread his message and showcase Indigenous culture. He is Wolf Clan from Potawatomi and Cree Nations, a member of WAPOol. Somebody's a member of WAPOol here, right? Coach Renaud! Right over there. Perfect. Theland is a social media influencer, and since 2018, he's been rocking it all over Turtle Island. He has followers and fans all over the world, and he's right here. Everybody, let's give it up for Keynote, Theland Kicknosway!
Check, check. Okay. Yeah. So, Gdizhaami, everybody. Good morning. I want everybody to look to the person to their left, whoever's on their left, and I want you to say, good morning, and thank you for being here. You can shake hands if you want. I'm pretty sure there's sanitizer somewhere. And look to the person to your right, and I want you to say, good morning, I love you. That was fun. That was fun. Gdizhaami, good morning, everybody. I'm very honored to be here today to share my thoughts, my ideas, and my words with you all. I was presented a question when I was asked to come here, and in turn, I have a question for everybody here. What is your purpose? What can you do today that'll impact tomorrow's result? What is your purpose? This is something that I often ask myself. Why is it that I'm here in this moment with all of you sitting here? My father, he's a very important man in my life. He's taught me so much about how to walk this life in a good way. And if you've ever met my father, you'll know that our medicine and our traditional ways of life is at the forefront of everything that we do. And I try and conduct my life after him and the teachings that he has taught me. You know, what is our purpose is a very common question, but it's a broad one and something that takes time to dissect and be able to fully understand what that is. You know, I don't expect you to answer that question right away, right now. But I hope that when you leave this gathering, when you leave your seat here, after connecting with all the people in this room, you realize that possibly that purpose is within yourself and within our community. Today, everybody here, this is the beginning of our family. It starts with good morning. It starts with hello. It starts with interacting with one another, having those important dialogues, those conversations, and being able to connect from one person to another. I realize that, you know, we're all here today for a reason, for a purpose. And before I begin, I'd actually like to share a story. Oh, might want to turn the volume down, that's okay. Before I begin, I'd like to share the story of one beautiful individual who has provided that purpose for a lot of us, who has been a hero within our nation, within our country. And, you know, I really appreciate what this person has been able to do, which is bringing us together and sharing their dreams with us. So this hero is a teenage girl from Attawapiskat First Nation in Northern Ontario. I'm sure many of you have probably heard her name before, but if you haven't, I'm going to quickly share that story with you. I believe that when people think about youth, we are often doubted because of our lack of experience. Sure, we haven't been around as long as some of the older ones in the room. I'm not pointing anybody out here. You know who you are. But we have so much to offer as youth, as the young people, especially when we are given the opportunity. That's the main thing, is giving. It is that opportunity sometimes is very hard to come by. I also believe that as youth, we can bring about social change within our community, our family, even across the world, no matter our age or our experience. When 14-year-old Shannon Kustachin from Attawapiskat made the journey to travel to Ottawa in 2008, she confronted the then Indian Affairs Minister, Chuck Straw. Her mission was to make the federal government fulfill the promise of a new school that was made to the community in 2000. During a shockingly brief meeting with Straw, the minister stated that the new school simply wasn't on the government's list of priorities and refused to discuss options for building a new school. But Shannon did not give up after that meeting. She gathered support and she marched from Victoria Island to Parliament Hill with elders and youth from across Canada. Shannon stood on the steps of Parliament and declared that we will not quit until every First Nations child has a school that they are proud of and one that they can call their own. People listened, and on September 8th, 2014, a new school was opened in Attawapiskat. Can we please put our hands together for Shannon's dream? This powerful voice, which was Shannon Kustachin, was taken from our world too soon. In May 2010, on her way to school, she was struck in a car accident and she lost her life. But the determination and the courage she had lives on. I was hoping that we could take a moment of silence to honor Shannon's efforts. Miigwech. Shannon was a fierce leader and a harmonious advocate for her community and our people. And at such a young age, she was able to inflict much change. Her purpose being that she was a vessel for communities to see real change, with growing their education on reserves and giving Indigenous children an equal opportunity to thrive at school. Shannon's efforts haven't and won't be ever forgotten, because it starts with continuing to bring her up in conversations like this one. Shannon's dream aims to help kids make sure they grow up in safe and comfy schools. It's leaders like Shannon that inspire so many, myself included. And I hope that she inspires you too. This just goes to show you that no matter what age you are, your voice is so strong and powerful, especially when it's uplifted by those around you. When we think of the changes we want to see in our lives or our communities, for example, it starts with the power of our voices. And I believe that our voice is the greatest gift that we were given. So I just wanted to say miigwech to the organizers for inviting me here today. Can we give a big round of applause to the organizers for allowing us to be here today? So, buju, ani, danse, kwe wache, sego, nimki banoje, kapisi smat napisis, indigenakaz, maingandodem, kajanong andonjaba. So, good morning, everybody. My English name is Theland Kicknosway. I'm Cree and Potawatomi from Wapul Island First Nation, Kajanong Territory. I'm part of the Wolf Clan. I am 20 years old, and I was born and raised on unceded, unsurrendered Algonquin territory, just down the road in our nation's capital. I guess it's not just down the road, but you know, I do a lot of driving in the summers. My family and I, we go to powwows, we go to different ceremonies and gatherings all over Turtle Island. So a 6-hour drive is not too far now. But yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. So, I mean, I must say, doesn't it feel good to be able to gather again in person? It feels good, right? Yeah. I mean, not too long ago, we were all stuck inside. You know, we were all by ourselves, all by our lonesome. And, you know, we weren't allowed to see our relatives. We weren't allowed to see our friends, our family. And I know me personally, standing 6 feet and wearing a mask was very difficult. You know, having to not actually interact with one another, being able to see each other face to face and having those important conversations. I mean, if you look at like the screen here, this was our live for a couple years, right? We all just looked at screens. And so that's why I'm very happy to be here today, so I can see you all face to face, because I believe that this is important right here. And I believe that this is where real change happens, is when we're able to sit down face to face. So I actually had a quick story about being stuck inside. I was given a traditional item about 10 years ago by this Mohawk man from the Tyendinaga First Nation. It's a flute, and I brought it here with me today. You know, as I was given this flute 10 years ago, you know, he said, you're going to make great music, and you're going to move people with your songs, with your music. And so he gifted me this flute. At the time, I didn't know what I was doing, and I tried to, you know, play some songs and try and, you know, make the wood work, and I don't know, it just didn't work at the time. So it sat up on my shelf in my room for a couple years. And then when COVID struck, and the pandemic happened, and we were all stuck inside. I turned back to our culture, listening to my parents' teachings and what they've taught me. And I returned back to that flute many years later. So one day, I went over to that shelf, I took that flute down, I grabbed it. And I was like, I'm determined to want to figure out how this works, how this instrument works. And so I started to play it. And it sounded a little screechy at first, didn't sound too good. But I realized that as I was playing it, that calm kind of set in. That relaxation came over me. And I realized that even though it didn't sound like the songs or the music that I've heard with flutes before, I still found that it gave me that relief. And so I wanted to continue to learn about this instrument, about how it works. So I put it down for that first day, and I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning, and it was the first thing that I grabbed. I grabbed that flute, and I started to play. And as the time went on, as the days went on, days turned to weeks, weeks turned to months, and then obviously now months turn to years. And I've continued to try and pick up that flute every single day, because I've found that within this instrument, it's brought me that clarity. It's brought me that peace. It's brought me what it means to be, one with myself. And I guess that's something that is something that I'm still trying to understand and learn as I continue to grow. But I hope that when I play this song in just a few moments, you're able to feel that calm come over you, that relaxation. Because I believe that even though we have been in high stress situations and in scenarios where, we have been tested, we've been put through many different difficult obstacles, sometimes we need to be called back in to find who we are as a human being, to be able to connect with our body, our mind, and our spirit, and be able to allow ourselves to say, this is a good place. So I'm going to share a song with you, and I'm going to invite you all, if you feel comfortable to do so, to close your eyes. And I want you to feel the rhythm, feel the notes, be able to listen to that song. And I hope that this song provides you some of that relaxation that you may need to put any stress or doubts aside just for a few moments. So, miigwech. So, does everyone feel a little better? Does everyone feel like they're here now, like they're in this moment? I mean, it's something that I'm very grateful to continue, these ways of learning, of understanding, and especially with this instrument, it's brought me so much, and I feel like music, it really connects us, even if we don't speak the same language. It is something that we've all been given the ability as human beings, to be present, and it's something that my father has shared with me. Is we've been given the ability as human beings to speak, to see, to hear, to smell, to think, and to feel. And these are all of the different things and abilities as human beings that sometimes we can take for granted. And so I hope that throughout that song, you kind of remember those different abilities that you have, because you are here for a reason. And sometimes we can forget that. So I just want you to know that you are loved, you are cared for, you're appreciated. And I want you to know that I love you all. So thank you for listening and sharing that time with me with that song. So one thing that I remind myself when I think about what is my purpose, one thing that I remind myself is that we are, with every breath that we take, fulfilling our ancestors' prayers. Every breath that we take, we are fulfilling our ancestors' prayers. Sometimes we can get lost in why we're here. We can forget how special life is, how unique it is to be this being in this body with this spirit. And I'm not trying to, get too holy on everybody, but I'm just like, you're cool, you're good. On the topic of fulfilling prayers, I actually wanted to share my personal experience and story with you of how it shaped to, myself and how I'm here today. I once had a dream and a vision like Shannon. This dream was rooted by a lack of action. I noticed a problem, you could say. Growing up, I rarely noticed Indigenous people, being talked about in my school. I rarely noticed a familiar face with similar skin that, someone that I could connect to in school. I didn't have any Indigenous friends growing up in school. And I thought long and hard, how can I be able to share with my friends and my classmates about my culture, about who I am, about why I wear my braids, about why I sing, about why I dance. And so eventually, after thinking hard about it, I was introduced a new assignment from my grade 3 English teacher, Mr. Macklin. And Mr. Macklin told us that we are moving into our persuasive writing unit. So for this particular project, we had to write a letter to a teacher or to a staff member or even to the principal about one thing we would like to see in our school. And so I remember some kids, they asked for unrealistic things that, are just terrible, like more recess time or a longer lunch. And then there were some more realistic things, like more books in the library, more soccer balls for when we go outside and we play in the gym. And I remember actually one kid asked for a goldfish in the room. And it was like our class pet, like hey, I want a goldfish. And so some of these persuasive writing letters that we wrote actually came true. A couple weeks later, we walk into the classroom and there's a goldfish there sitting on the desk. I'm like, wow, it actually happened. And I remembered back to what I was writing. I asked for my friends and this school in particular to learn about my culture. I wanted them to understand how beautiful our way of life is. And so I asked for a powwow at our school. I remember writing this beautiful letter, and I submitted it to the principal. And a couple weeks later, I got a letter back from him, and it only had 3 words on it. It said, "Let's do it." So we then gathered our committee, our little powwow committee for my school, with the help of my family, my friends, and other indigenous relatives in the Algonquin territory. We're able to bring that powwow to that school. And so I remember we gathered all the vendors, we asked them to come, we asked the drums, we asked dancers to come and be present. We had the fire lit, and everything was set for this beautiful powwow. And just before that powwow in June, I was actually a bit nervous, because even though we had put out the flyers and the posters, and we had told everybody on the assembly and on the intercoms to come to this powwow, it was after school, and I was afraid that nobody would show up. And so eventually, my family and I, we drove over to my school. And as we got there, the vendors were starting to get lined up. The food vendors were in the back getting their grill on. And then one drum showed up, and then another drum showed up, and then all the dancers started to come together. And so it's about 4:30, and everybody that's a powwow person was there on time. And if you know us powwow people, it's very hard for us to be on time. I'm sure there's a couple of dancers and singers in here that, you got to get your Timmy's coffee in before, you go. You got to do your stretches. But anyways, it was 4:30, and the powwow, the grand entry is going to start at 5. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, 4:35, 4:40, I see my friends start walking with their families. And I see so many different backgrounds, so many different communities all coming together just to see how beautiful our culture is. And so we powwowed, and we powwowed, and we powwowed. And we danced and sang all the way until we couldn't anymore, and the sun was down. And I thought that was so special, because all of these people were brought here today because of one idea, one thought, one dream. And I felt really proud to be able to have kind of sparked that idea, be able to spark that interest within my friends. And I remember coming to school the next week, my friends all talked about it. They're like, "Wow, that was so cool. Like, I'd never had an Indian taco before. I'd never had a moose meat burger, a bison burger," and they really enjoyed it. And I think that was when I felt like I belonged. I felt like, even though I don't have another Indigenous friend in this school, at least everyone now has an understanding of where I come from. And so I'm really thankful for my principal, Mr. Petrie, at the time, for allowing that idea to come to fruition. And so I remember we continued that powwow for the next 6 years, actually. I believe it was one of the first powwows in OCDSB. I'm pretty sure they had another powwow before that. But it was one of the first powwows in a while. And we kept that running for 6 years, even when I got to middle school. And I'm very grateful that we were able to have that and bring that culture to that community. Because it's not like we just enter a room and, everything's left at the door. You bring yourself and you bring your community in to this room when you step in here today. You bring your thoughts, your ideas, your dreams, and you bring this trail of beautiful, beautiful light with you every time you step into any room. And so I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for all of you. So I've been trying to continue to understand what is my purpose, and it's something that I think will continue to change as life goes on. I feel that throughout my different experiences as I get older, they will continue to change. But one thing that I will try and remember is that gratitude for life, for each other, and for our families and our communities. It's something I always try to learn and to give back as much as I can. And with the help of my family and my community, they've been able to offer me so much insight into how to be a kind young man and how to walk this way of life. And I'm not trying to, claim that I know everything, because as my father has shared with me, I'm a student of life. He even shares that at 73 years of age, that he is a student for life, and that he will continue to listen and learn no matter where he is, no matter where he goes. And so I try and follow that concept and mirror his beliefs as best as I can. Life hasn't always been easy. There's been obstacles. There's been things that I've tried to get in my way to try and stop me from, becoming who I am. But, I think as a Indigenous youth, I think that we all carry the stories of our ancestors, and we carry their prayers on our back. And so I think it's with that we're able to move forward and continue to walk this life in a good way. We're still here. We're still standing. At least I'm standing right now. But I'm again, it's just that understanding of gratitude and being able to do this way of life in a good way. So I guess I wanted to kind of conclude my portion of this presentation by sharing some healing and some storytelling with you. I brought with me today some hoops, some traditional hoops, and I just wanted to share a bit of my story about how I came to find this dance. So I was about 4 years old when my family, my mother and my father, they brought me to just across the river from where I live. There's this museum, and there's this man performing. His name is Dallas Arcand. He's a 3-time world hoop dance champion. And so at that young age of 4, we got the chance to go and watch him perform and dance. And I was mesmerized the entire time that he was dancing. I was really inspired by the way he could weave these hoops together and create this beautiful story. And I was able to spark that interest in me. I was like, I think I want to be a hoop dancer. So over the course of a year, I asked lots of questions. I practiced with 4 women in the Ottawa territory in the Algonquin region, and I practiced with them for 1 whole year. And every single day that I was practicing with them, they would show me something new, and they would tell me the story of how they became to be a hoop dancer, about how they're able to share this gift and share that healing. And I think I began to understand what that healing was about. So at the age of 5, I finally had my first hoop dance. I was still building my regalia at the time, and my family, with their help, we were able to put together something for my hoop dance. I've been a grass dancer ever since I could basically walk. I started out as a traditional dancer, and it's cute. I didn't bring any pictures with me here today, but I had a little bustle on my back, and it was a little hawk bustle, and in the middle is where you put your spreader, and it kind of spreads the feathers around. I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. And the spreader, sometimes it can be like wood, or it could be some sort of other material that kind of holds it together. But my family painted Thomas the Train on my little spreader. And so that was my favorite thing at the time, Thomas the Train and Spider-Man. So my little rolly bag that I walked to the powwow with was a Spider-Man bag, and I was so proud. And we showed up to the powwow, got dressed. I had my grass dance shirt on, and I just wore some I think they were like sweatpants or like something. I didn't have any breeches. I didn't have anything else. I just had, good vibes and a shirt. So I went out there and tried to, kind of replicate what I had been learning over the past year, and I started hoop dancing from there. So I'm very grateful for this dance and for what it has showed me about the healing aspects. And everybody is going to see something different when you're watching the hoop dancers. One person in the crowd, one person may see a hawk, another person may see an eagle, another person may see a raven. And we all come from different territories. So maybe that bird that I'm trying to create is that hawk, is that eagle, is that raven. The thing is, it's up to you to create your own story. So as I'm dancing, I want you to look for those symbols, for those shapes and those formations as I weave those hoops together. I want you to create that story within your mind. And you see, because we all see something differently, that's what makes us unique as human beings, is that we're not all going to have the same story. We're not all going to see the same things. But our insight and what we see is very important to the world and to creating our own story. So I'm going to bring these hoops out. These hoops were originally made from red willow. They were bent, tied, and dyed to create the circular shapes that we see here today. I've always understood the traditional method of how to make these hoops, and I hope that someday I get the chance and the opportunity to go and make traditional hoops. But nowadays, we use modern materials that are a lot more accessible to our people. These hoops here today were carefully handcrafted with natural materials organically from our sacred Canadian Tire. So we got plumber's tubing, that's what this is. And we got duct tape, holds it together. And good vibes and pants. So I'm gonna showcase my style of the hoop dance in just a moment. But to my understanding, this dance it's a storytelling dance and it's a healing dance. Other tribes, other nations across Turtle Island have different understandings of this dance as well. I've heard that it is a warrior dance. It's also used for wedding ceremonies, which is something that I just learned. So, just wanted to let everybody know I am taken at the moment. So this is not the time for that. But the hoop dance, to my knowledge, originally comes from the Hopi people and the Hopi tribe down in southwestern United States around Arizona. And as I mentioned, they use this dance for healing, for storytelling. So, as I'm weaving these hoops together, I want you to create your own story. Look for those different symbols, look for those shapes, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you like what you see while I'm dancing, feel free to put your hands together. Makes me dance even harder. And I'm going to share this dance, share my style. And can we just give a quick round of applause to our sound people over here? Our tech desk is the most important thing that we have here today. It's, yeah, thank you guys very much. So I'm pretty sure we have the track all lined up. Alrighty. So yeah, I'm gonna come out here, do my dance, and have some good vibes and some pants. So that's it. I did bring my bells with me here today. I didn't want to kind of scare anybody. I wanted to sneak up in a good way, so that's why I didn't wear them right away. But. think that's the first time I've ever heard that. That's, yeah, oh yeah. Miigwech. So, as you can tell by being out of breath, I've been doing this for 15 years. Just grab some water. Shtataha. Mami kwendam. Miigwech. So, you don't have to tell me exactly what you seen, but by raise of hands, how many of us were able to create our own story in our mind? All right, that's good. That's good. So I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to have shared some songs, some dances. If you noticed at the beginning, I started with an opening song. This is a song that I made myself, and I'm very, very blessed for that ability to breathe, for that ability to learn those songs and to create those songs. And that was one of the opening songs that I shared at the beginning before I even said anything. So, in kind of closing, I just wanted to kind of reinstate, why I'm here. So, I believe you all have the ability to be great leaders and change makers. Try your best to follow that good path and listen to the elders. Take time to learn about yourself and what makes you happy. Continue to follow the guidance of Shkok. Remember that you are placed here on the face of this earth for a reason. You are special, beautiful, and loved. So remember, throughout all of these things, what is your purpose? How will you make today's actions the result of tomorrow's results? Whew. Almost got it. I think you kind of are understanding what I'm saying. And I just want to, again, give my gratitude to the organizers, to all of you for being present here in this moment, for allowing you to share your time here with me. I'm really grateful. So, continue to search, continue to find what makes you happy, what makes you feel loved and cared for, and continue to find your purpose. Because for me, I think it's about giving back, trying to do as much as I can so that I'm looking forward to the next 7 generations and the kind of groundwork that they're going to lay for the next 7 generations after them. So, miigwech, I really appreciate you all. And I'm going to ask you if you can all pat yourself on the back, just to give yourself that gratitude, that recognition. And turn to the person to your left. Say, hey, I love you. And turn to the person to your right and say, hey, you're amazing. And then, can I have everybody here in this room say, I am beautiful. One more time, I am beautiful. Yes. So offer yourself that time to take care of yourself, to look after your being, look after who you are. And I love you all so much. Miigwech. Aho, Gdizhaami. Yeah? Yeah? Yes.
Right on, everybody. Before we take a break, and we're a few minutes ahead of schedule, does anybody have any questions for Theland? He's right here in the flesh with hoops on. And nice and loud, please, just so we can kind of get through. Yes.
A little bit later, I'll be doing a ceremony outside. It's a smoke signal ceremony. You'll be able to find my contact in the signals. So just follow that, and I think you'll get. I'm just playing.
It's awesome.
I will be here a little bit after this session, and if you have time, I will be around. But if you did want to check out my Facebook, it's my full name, Theland Kicknosway. And if you'd like to connect there, we can definitely, connect there. And smoke signal. I wish that would be so cool. But
awesome. You can just Google him too. He's all over the place. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, when I'm playing up there, when you were playing that, all I could hear was the music you were playing. Different sounds. Jimmy, much for that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Theland, you're off the hook. Maybe
Oh.
maybe it's time to go shower. Everybody, once again, let's give it up for Theland, everybody. Theland, that's for you, man. So proud of you. Yeah, so proud of you. There you go. Awesome. Okay. So we're a few minutes ahead of schedule. Holy moly. That's good, hey? Do you mind if we take a longer break? Okay. All right. Okay, so I have an idea. For the ones that want to go break, you can take off in just a moment. I have the Team Tabahan score sheet right here. I'm repurposing some of the sheets. It's right here, right? You pick somebody to play with. They swing 10 times. You catch their swing. Remember that? Okay, right here. And then, vice versa. And then sign the sheet. And then the team that wins will get a Tabahan each. Okay? All right, so Team Tabahan, again, no problem. It's easy, no sweat. I hold the Tabahan. I swing. Mackenzie catches. 10 points. She swings. I catch. Get 7 points. All right? Okay. I'm actually, as well, I have another game I'd like to share with you, but I can't do it in here. There's not enough room. So this one's a musical chairs-inspired Tabahan game. So if you brought your Tabahans with you, and you want to play Tabahan-inspired musical chairs, there's a big room across the hallway if the youth ambassadors don't mind us not making a mess out of the room, but cleaning it up after we're done, if that's okay. You okay with that? And you'd like to play, just to kind of get some blood flowing. Yesterday after today, yesterday after yesterday, I went right upstairs, right at 4:36. I lay in bed, and I didn't wake up until 7. And I looked at my watch, and I said, holy crap, I only took 5,000 steps so far. Right? So I walked down to Shoppers, pick something up, right? I'm 51, I go to Shoppers, right? That's my favorite store. And then I come back, and then I get back from dinner, holy, 5,800 steps. I was like, holy, I got a baseline. The baseline is at least 10,000 steps a day. Because we can, right? We can. So yesterday, at 10 o'clock, I was in the fitness room, wanted to go for a half-hour run, because I can. That's the only reason why I can. I got a record, a running record. During COVID, I started my running record. I thought, I'm going to run 5 days in a row. So I ran 5 days in a row. And then I thought, I'm going to go 10. So I went 10. And to register a day, was at least 20 minutes, right? So I couldn't just get on there and run for 10 seconds and that was my day. 25 days? Yeah. 50 days? Yeah. 100 days? Yeah. 150? Yeah. I just kept going and going and going. During COVID, I got COVID once. And when I found out I got COVID, I had to stop my streak. My streak was 321 days of running at least 20 minutes a day, averaging about 45 to 50 minutes a day, right? Not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that our bodies need to be used on a daily basis, right? Motion is lotion, right? I'm not saying anything about sex or lubrication. Maybe I am. That motion requires lotion as well. But I encourage you, we live on a biomechanical system. If we don't use our bodies will break. We need to use our bodies, use those bodies. So with that being said, we will see we'll see you back here at 10:45 for another youth presentation. If you'd like to play a Tabahan game, bring your Tabahan games over. Please, if you don't have any, I have 2 extras. So come on over, come across over here, everybody. We'll see you later. Bring your It's time to get rolling. Everybody, please grab a seat. Thank you. Are you enjoying our youth morning so far? So 2 of you are enjoying the morning. Okay. That's a shock. Let me ask that again. Who's enjoying the youth morning so far? You failed the first one, you passed the second one. So good job. So we're going to continue on, everybody. We noticed that the young people were across the street, our little highway there in the solarium. They've been working hard. They got things to show you. They got things to say. I'm looking forward to this. I love it when the young people take center stage and they're able to say good things for us. So get ready. Put those phones down. Be present in the space. Tell whoever you're chatting with. This is important stuff. BRB. You will be right back. So please be present in the room. If we say our young people are the present and the future, don't they deserve your attention? Right? Okay, good. So first of all, I want to give special kudos out to our youth ambassadors. Our youth ambassadors are awesome. They've been leading the show next door. And now we have Lucas Machano-Corshane sitting right over there. Let's give it up for Lucas, everybody. Lucas flies high. He's an Eagle Clan from Gdizhaami, Nishnabek. And he's a land-based coordinator at the Gdizhaami Nishnabek Elementary School. Passionate about being out in the land. A strong advocate for the land and being a teacher and healer. Lucas has grown up in ceremony, enjoys his time spent teaching young men at the drum. One more time, Lucas, right over there, everybody. The wonderful Natalie sitting over here. Keep the applause going for Natalie, sitting right here. Natalie is Anishinaabe Kwe from Dokis, also Eagle Clan. You guys are relatives, belong to the same clan. Natalie is a graduate of the Indigenous Wellness Addictions Prevention Program and currently works as an Anishinaabe language instructor. Natalie is an active learner in Anishinaabewan, participates in cultural and ceremonial teachings, and contributes to community-based research that supports Indigenous revitalization efforts. She loves working with the elders, knowledge keepers, historians, medicine keepers, language speakers, leadership, youth, and organizations. Everybody, Natalie Restool right here. I'm turning it over to the young people. This old dude is done. Young people, let's roll.
Ani? Oh, yeah, nice. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. I don't even have to do it myself. No, Ani, everybody. Natalie Indishnikovs, Oki Kendan Donjaba, Megazi Dodem. My name is Natalie Russell. I come from Dokis First Nation. I'm Eagle Clan, and I am a cultural and language instructor in my community. And I have fallen in love with teaching and education, and I think I've always kind of been involved in that, on that journey. But teaching the young ones is something that I've become really passionate about. And being involved with the youth is something that I've always been connected to, and helping the youth, live Minobamata in that good life. And that's what we were talking about the past few days, is what does student success look like in relation to Minobamatuan. And it was really truly moving and really beautiful, because the youth have a strong vision, and it's really important, and I emphasize that we listen to that vision of the youth. And I was telling them that I'm a mother of 2 children. My son is 6 and my daughter is soon to be 4. And so their vision is going to impact what my children will receive very, very soon. And as a mother, I'm excited because I share the same vision with these youth, and I hope we can collectively share that vision and support that vision, because I can promise you we're headed in a really good direction. And I'm really proud of the youth, and especially our AES Youth Council. We're definitely in good hands. So please have faith and have trust and build that relationship with the youth, because they're smart and they can teach us a lot. And again, I'll say I teach JK to grade 4, and they teach me every single day, and they're they're just our babies. So I just want to say thank you to the AES and all the council for bringing me here and allowing me to share space with you all and all the youth yesterday. So Chimigwech, and I'm going to pass it over to my partner.
Bonjour, Anin. Titi Tibaka, Nimki Makuch, Nadijna Kaz, Kanuto Dame, Piktagon, Dishtabek Donji. I first and foremost want to acknowledge the Creator for this another beautiful day that we get to spend together. Yesterday, the youth had requested that we had opened up, and I thought we must honor that. And I sat and I spent the evening thinking of what are some of the things that we can, what are some of the messages that we can pass on to these youth. But I don't only have a message for the youth, I have a message for everyone else. And I want to start with a message directly to our elders who have given their lives and have devoted their lives to sustaining our ways, holding on to our culture, especially during those hard times, the Prohibition period, the residential schools. And the message that I want to share is try not to worry. Try not to worry. Our youth, they're willingly taking it upon themselves to dive into ceremony, to learn culture. Me and Natalie had this conversation yesterday. In the short years that we've been here, recently we've been seeing more youth dive into their culture, and it was so heartwarming when I first got into the solarium and I seen this youth council. They had bundles, and I thought, wow. I said, that is such a nice thing to see. So long story short, for our elders, do not worry. Our youth are growing and they're willingly learning. We're waking up and we're taking action and we're moving forward. Our message to the youth: you're going to face struggles. There's no questions about it. Life will throw you curveballs. And there's going to be a time where you're feeling down. And the message that I want to share to you is, you know where to go. You've started your bundles. Keep building them. You've established those connections with elders. You've participated in ceremony. These are the types of things that sustain your people for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So like I said, when you are struggling and when you're faced with those challenges in your life journey ahead of you, you know what to do. Go back to the original instructions. Go back to your mother. And I can't leave everyone out in the middle. I address the elders and I address the youth. So all of you that are in the middle, just keep being deadly and supporting the youth. At this time, I'd like to call up the Youth Council along with the other youth from the fellow communities. Put a round of applause.
Everyone, come on in. So, Ani Bonjour, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Wow, what kind of answer was that? How's everyone doing today? Yeah. So, Ani Bonjour, Wab Guanis and Dishnakas, Taganing Donjba and Bising Donda. Wab Shishido Dem, Nishnabe Kwe and Dao, Minwa Ogma Kwe and Dao. Laurentian University, Ndo Kinomagos. So, Ani, hello. My name is Kaylin. My Anishinaabe name is Wabguanese, which translates to little flower, otherwise known as little white thing that blooms. I'm 22 years old and I'm from Nipissing First Nation. I'm part of the Martin clan. I recently completed my undergraduate degree at Laurentian University in the Indigenous Social Work program with a minor in Indigenous Studies, and I am expected to graduate in June this year. Miigwech. So in April of 2023, I was elected as the AES Youth Council Ogama-Kweh. It is with great honor that I am able to sit on the Youth Council with 10 other brilliant Anishinaabe students from across the province to collaborate and include youth voices and decision-making related to our education. A few things to know about us and what we do as a youth council includes representing Anishinaabe scholars between the ages of 13 to 24 and listening to the struggles and barriers of mainstream education systems. We're a voice for the youth and we advocate for the youth. We want to be more active within the 23 participating First Nation communities to bring youth voices to a regional level, and we anticipate to eventually bring Indigenous educational concerns to a provincial and national level. We aspire to help decrease the rates of racism and oppression and eliminate barriers within education for Indigenous students. We look forward to gathering and making positive changes for the Anishinaabe youth. So, I'm talking pretty fast, but that's okay. So, Indigenous education is more than just learning about our history with colonization. It's more than just residential schools, the 60s scoop, trauma, and the list of negative experiences goes on. Indigenous people have been negatively impacted by so-called education systems that continue to take us away from where the real learning happens, which is within our communities and on the land. For many years, our people, and probably many of you here today, have experienced systematic oppression and negative stereotypes. But I'm not standing up here today to retell you all these negative and sad stories because we're more than that. So yesterday, myself, Natalie, Lucas, Carly, Kaylin, and all these youth here standing in front of me today, we met and we talked about our youth council and what we do and our plans for the future. I'm so delighted to have heard many amazing ideas as well as concerns and suggestions. We emphasize the importance of building our physical bundles and how it gives us a sense of belonging and identity, as well as direction in life. We also talked about what student success in Bemadzwin means to us. So we acknowledge that this is portrayed as being in control of our own education, knowledge, and how we want this to be delivered. As Indigenous youth, we're striving for sovereignty. Back in the day, maybe even before my time, INAC would give us funds and tell us what to do. Now, we're able to do whatever we want with these funds and meet the needs of our communities. It has been evident that the social, economic, and educational systems were made to work against us and continue to deprive us of living our old ways. Now, we are capable of taking up spaces and institutions that once tried to assimilate us, to create and utilize culturally safe environments and resources to allow us to learn in the same ways that our grandfathers and grandmothers once did. As Anishinaabe people, we are able to adapt. Our ancestors even proved that to us when they would migrate to their summer and winter spots where they would live, fish, hunt, trap, harvest, depending on the seasons. And here we are today, decolonizing mainstream education and indigenizing westernized institutions and adapting to living in two worlds proudly and confidently. So on our first slide, here we have, what is the first word that comes into mind when you think of student success in Bemadzwin? So on these following slides is the feedback from the KB that we received through surveys on student success in Bemadzwin. And this was sent out and we got 25 responses from 25 youth across the 23 participating First Nations. So to answer this question, what is the first word that comes to mind when you think of student success in Bemadzwin? We tallied up the top 3 most important things, which was First Nation students of all ages succeeding in school, hard work, academic achievement, personal growth, career readiness, and lifelong learning. What supports can contribute to student success in Bemadzwin? So here we have resources and supports for students, also funding so all Indigenous students can have access to equal opportunities, community and family support, supporting students with mental health support such as counseling and smudging, and talking with an elder. How can you tell that someone has achieved student success in Bemadzwin? So some of the answers were they're confident in themselves and their ability to learn and grasp concepts that are involved in at school. They have grown as a learner with supports and resources, and they are proud of where they are in their life and are trying new things. What are some ways your community supports students' success in Bamadzwin? So here are some of our answers were commonly elders, powwows, round dances, ceremony, and to have a good school. Outreach for high school graduates, student awards for grads and post-secondary students, and land-based learning. So take a good look at this. These were the statistics from our survey. And after thoroughly looking at this yesterday and coming together as a group, we kind of redid this. But I'm just going to read you what the stats were. This was from 25 students from our 23 PFN. So they all voted from 1 to 7 what was most important to them within their education and student success in Bamadzwin. So here we have mental health as number 1. Number 2, we have cultural knowledge and connection. Number 3 is physical well-being. Number 4 is attendance rates. 5 is healthy relationships. 6 is social engagement. And 7 is speaking the language. And we were rather shocked, and I believe a lot of us here might also be shocked to see that that was the very last priority on our list. So after gathering and discussing this, we came up with something different. So we redid this list. So instead of having these 7 priorities, we kind of switched it and put language with culture and knowledge. And here we have a little pyramid. So our priority is language and culture and knowledge. So we put that as number 1. As you can see in our little pyramid, we have 2, 3, and 4 about on the same level. So we have our mental health, physical well-being, and healthy relationships. And we acknowledge that we need to take care of ourselves first in order to take care of others, as well as learn our culture and our identity. So at the very bottom, we have social engagement and attendance rates, which are equally important, but this is how we drew it out. So this is our new list of priorities. So what are examples of student success in Bamadzwin? So this is back in the survey, I believe, or the new one. Yes, okay, this is what we spoke about yesterday. So an example of student success in Bamadzwin is being able to practice our culture when we feel like it, so being proud of it. It's also taking care of our holistic well-being, super important. It's also living off the land. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear student success in Bamadzwin? So we heard answers like reconnecting with the land, our medicine and culture, knowing who you are and being confident, and having supports in place to live the good life and working hard for it. What supports can First Nations help with? Every First Nation having a JK to grade 8, transitions in place to support students from going from on reserve to school off reserve. So this could be for students going to high school, students coming from high schools on reserve to going to college, or just starting life at that point at 18. We also have more Indigenous teachers in schools. So next we have, what does student success look like to you? So yesterday we had the opportunity to do a creative expression workshop with Lucas and Natalie, where we were given the opportunity to paint what student success in Bamadzwin looks like to us. So I'm gonna call everyone up, unless you want a mic. Do you want me to bring you the mic? Okay, I'm gonna call everyone up and they're gonna explain what they think student success looks like to them. So we're gonna start with Burke.
Hi, my name is Berkeley. I'm from Doki's First Nation. This is my painting. So I painted the land because connecting with the land helps my physical, mental, and spiritual health, which is a big part of having a good life. I painted a home because a home helps embrace cultural values which can help with student success, and it's a big impact that it has on our lives. I painted water because water can teach us many things about our culture, and water is very sacred to us. Plants because plants give us medicine that keep us healthy and happy. And same with the animals that we get our food from, which contributes to our physical health, which also keeps us happy and healthy. And then hunting and fishing. Hunting and fishing is very important to me because my dad was the one that taught me to hunt and fish. And it's a way to gain more cultural knowledge, and it helps us have an overall happy life because a lot of people like to do that. And that's it.
Okay, so next we have Reese.
Ani Bojo, recent Dishka, Shawanaka First Nation, Donjaba, Megze Dodem. We decided to do a group one with all of our different aspects that mean something to us. I chose water because water is a way of life and how we can live. We live on the water. Our water is a provider for us, not only for food, but for traveling. It's a way to I don't know what it's a way of life. I don't know.
Ani Bojo, Bella Indijnakas, Wasaksi Mila, Perry Sound, Donjaba. I chose to put a little grad cap on because it's important to have a good education so that you can get a good job later on down the road.
Hi, I'm Caden from A91. I did a moose because I like hunting and providing for the elders who are capable of going out to go hunting. So I look forward to hunting every year and fishing, providing for the community and all the elders who can't go do it.
Ani Bojo, Roy Indigenous Cause, Whitefish River and Donjaba, Nobel and Dad. I did some I did some heart-shaped flowers to show that growth and love that we have for the land and the connection that it brings to all of us.
We also have a tree because it reminds us to have a good relationship with nature. Oh yeah. We also have a deadly men's traditional dancer because it is our favorite way to practice dancing.
All right, miigwech. So next we have Paige. Did Paige already present? Okay, so if we look up at the screen here, we see water and the land. We emphasize a lot how our women were commonly drawing water within their paintings here. So here's a little portrait of what land-based learning could look like. Next we have Charlotte. Is Charlotte here? Okay, as we see again, there's water in the picture. We also have like the sunset in the sky and the land. So land-based learning was a really big thing of what student success in Bamadzwan looks like. Then we have Peyton. Peyton drew the florals here. Did you want to explain? Yeah. So here, she has the so she has the native flower, aka the woodland florals. Very beautiful. She painted this because it reminds me of my ancestors. Indigenous art is healing for me and others. It just reenacts to my culture when I draw this or paint this. So this is our florals and medicine. Thank you. Awesome. Do you want to go? Okay. So next we have Michaela.
Bojowani, Wabano Gijigo Kweni Dishnakas, Biktigan Donji. My English name is Michaela Quanevins, and I'm from Pick River First Nation. So I made a jingle dress dancer. I've been dancing since I could walk, and I'm from a community where you're supported in that. And you know, other indigenous people might not have the same opportunities I have because their school might not support them. They might only have, you know, people from other cultures there, and they might not have that support system. So I'm just grateful that I came from a community where I'm supported in that, and I'm able to dance all throughout Ontario.
Miigwech. So next we have AJ. Is AJ here?
She's here. I can speak on her behalf.
Okay. Did you want the mic?
Yes, please. Yes.
Here's one mic.
Thank you. My name's Barbara. I'm AJ's mom. AJ felt it was important to talk about her spirit name, as that is her way of living a good life, the meaning of it. So in her picture, she depicts in her vision what her spirit name is, which is, she's called, is it Umbakwad? Abakwad, which means calm after the storm. And so her picture here depicts the sky, earth, fog, and the eye of the storm. It was described to her that she sits in the middle of the storm, so the eye of the storm is above her, and the storm moves around her. So this is what she's trying to depict in her picture with the birds flying above. And there's eyes. The black dots are eyes. So Creator is always watching. And she also feels healing and intuition.
Actually, next we have Bianca. Did you want to do it again? Sorry.
Anine again. Bianca chose to draw a picture of the sky. Bianca loves to look up at the sky and look at the moon and the stars. That is what she depicts a good life means to her, being able to look at the moon and the stars in the sky. When she looks at the night sky, she feels calm, she feels free, and she feels a sense of openness, space, peace, and quietness.
Miigwech. So next we have Miss Kikendad, Olivia Restul.
Ani Bojo, Nango Station Kaz, Dokis Donjaba, Wabjeshi Dodem. Ani, my Anishinaabe name means little star, and my English name is Olivia Restul. I am from Dokis First Nation, and I'm part of the Martin clan. I'm 16 years old and currently going to Llewellyn Park Secondary School, and I was lucky enough to be a part of the AES Youth Council. I got elected last year, 2023, and and my picture is representing student success in Bidmadzuin by being connected to nature at all times, and how that helps you by being example like land-based learning. Also connected to the water. Like water is throughout us our whole lives, and women are water carriers and water is life. So being connected to it does help a good life. As well as connection with your culture. I feel like you have to learn your sense of self to be able to learn, like just to be able to learn in general. So going to like powwows and ceremonies and just having that sense. and then as well as having a community of people that surrounds you and supports you at all times. So like you guys being here right now and having just anyone like your family or if you're on a sports team or something. And yeah, that's mine. Miigwech.
So next we have Carson.
Ani, Gamewanas and Watan and Dijnakas, Chimnising and Donjava. Well, my government name is Carson Norton Sutherland, but the name that was given to me by, my grandmother, the way it's always been done, is, well, it means little rainbow on the calm water. I didn't really incorporate that. I don't know why I'm specifying that right now. But I'm not sure if it stands out based on like what I'm wearing right now, but I personally hold a lot of value in kind of Western schooling in a way. I adapted to it really well once I got off the reservation, unlike a lot of people. But so I did like the night sky and the morning sky meeting together in the middle to sort of show our past and our future coming together, because we're not gonna be able to keep doing everything if we don't make tiny little compromises once in a while. Yeah, that's it. I also forgot to mention I'm part of the youth council.
Miigwech, as you can see, Carson is like our young elder. Always has deadly moccasins. Where are your moccasins? Always has his deadly mocks on, but not today. Gotcha. Okay. Anywho, we have Harold up next, who's also on the youth council.
Anin Bojo, Harold Ditchnikas from Bigtagon Donji. My painting is the community drum of Bigtagon. It makes me feel happy because it's my culture and that's where I came from. It helps me connect with the land. It helps me hear the heartbeat of Mother Earth and have the relationships of the other drummers with me.
Bojo, James and Indigenous. As you can see, I painted the medicine wheel, which represents 4 directions, as well as where you came from, where you're going. Healing with the medicines, the 4 seasons, and balance in nature. And the imperfections on there, they were totally a part of it, and nobody is perfect. Miigwech. Oh, I am a part of the youth council as well.
Ani Vojo, Daner and Dijnakas, Jiba Hasing and Dunjba, Swakamak and Nida, and Ishnabe, Kwe and Dao. My painting, it depicts a jingle dress dancer standing on the land with a smudge bowl. And you can see that there's an ancestor behind. It's kind of hard to see on the picture, but it means like ancestors are always with you and you carry their teachings with you and it's in your blood and they'll always be with you. So I added the jingle dress dancer because dancing is important to us. That's one thing we all have in common in our cultures is we always have dance. Medicine and smudge because this is one of our sacred medicines. Water because water is life and it's important to our women. And a teepee because like that's where we used to live. We used to live on the land, and having a good family life is very important because that also contributes to our education. Is having a good life at home will always affect our schooling. And yeah, I'm also on the youth council for Rec 2. Miigwech.
next we have the deadly Jade.
Anin Bojo, Jade Goulet, Wabinokwe, Dishnakaz, Sturgeon Falls, Donjaba, Nibisin Donda. My name is Jade Goulet. My spirit name is Wabinokwe. For this photo, I found student success in Mano Bemajwin really has to happen when our holistic well-being is in check first. We have to take care of ourselves before we can do other things. And one of the most important things to me lately has been taking care of myself and taking care of my spirituality. And in this photo, I drew like a sunset, sunrise sort of deal, some water, some rocks, and some fish and eagles. Yeah, my fish are pretty cool, eh? Anyways. But yeah, basically, I drew this because this is like my safe spot on the land. At Nibizian, there's a lot of rocks and whatnot. So whenever I'm going through a tough time or whatever, I think about the land, and this is my safe spot. So I depicted where I feel safe and where I feel like I can succeed. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Okay, so this one's mine. There wasn't really much significance behind it. I was kind of just letting the creator tell me what to do. So this is basically like the place that makes me feel balanced, and there's a lot of holistic healing that goes on here. I don't know why I made such big mountains, because there's no mountains like that in Nipissing. It just looked cool, and we don't really see northern lights very often, but to me, student success is finding balance within the land and our education. And if anyone has ever been to North Bay, I was telling everyone that this is Gdizhaami Falls, but it's not, unfortunately. But to me, student success in Bemajwin is being a successful student, not only within the classroom, but as a person, as a human. It's taking care of ourselves and taking care of the land. And it's finding that balance in those two worlds like I was talking about earlier. Living in harmony, and also, like we mentioned earlier, having healthy relationships with the land, our ancestors, our history, our medicine, culture, everything. So the moose is just there for decoration. I've never actually shot a moose yet, but maybe soon. But yeah, that's what student success in Bemajwin means to me. So next we have Landon. Sorry, Jade forgot to say that Jade is on council. So before we conclude, we also have two more people. We have Landon and Trinity. Did you want to present?
Onin. Hi. Anyways, it's not on there, but I drew my first ever land-based experience. It's me and my grandpa on the water at Chimnasing, because he's a fisherman, so then that's where I got my first ever like land-based teaching, and then I still do it to this day. Every summer weekend we'll go out and then go catch fish and sell it. And I got a little tiny lighthouse in the back, and then there's just the beach when you can see. I didn't do a sunrise, I just did middle day. I don't know why. I should have done like a sunrise or something. But anyways, yeah, that's it. Have a nice day, everyone.
I drew like the nighttime sky and the ground. And I drew a little house in the back. That's all.
Aren't our youth just so awesome and creative? So that's pretty much everything we wanted to share with you today, and we're so thankful that you're here to listen to us. We know that it's really important to listen to the youth. Even as a youth, I have to listen to the youth. But I just wanted to say miigwech to everyone for letting us use this platform to use our voice and advocate for the changes we need to see and to help our communities grow and to change the way education looks for us. Like I said, we adapt, and we're adapting to the way life is today. In a perfect world, we would all be living on the land harmoniously, but we can still do that, even though it's not a perfect world. So I just wanted to say miigwech to everyone for coming out today and listening to us and letting us share our stories. Miigwech.
Hey, I know the young people left over here, but let's show them more love. Come on, let's go. All right. Just wondering. We got some time. And I got a microphone, too. Does anybody have any thoughts? Anybody have any feelings? Anybody have anything that they wanted to say about perspective? About maybe something that is lacking, maybe something that's new that kind of popped up based on what your young people said? About maybe some of the things that you need to do more of, blah, 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 blah. Let's have a little bit of a discussion. I'm seeing one hand here, one hand here. We'll go one, we'll go two. I'll come around with this if you don't mind, okay? I'm coming around with this if you don't mind. I'm running. I'm running. There we go. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome shoes. They're pretty awesome shoes. Look, come on. Okay, I'll stand over here so you can face the crowd. There we go. Okay.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was an elder in the room with the youth. Anybody?
There isn't.
There isn't? Okay. I think we need that because there were several things that they spoke of that I thought there's great teachings behind that, and that would help them an awful lot in making their journey. And the big one is a long time ago. Hey. So elders from our community went to an elders conference in Trent University, and at that time we were just beginning to come into who we were again as Anishinaabe people, and the church was always strong in our community. And in a way, that was good because that kept spirit alive, that kept spirit going. And so our elders went off. We got a tour bus for them, and the way they went, they came back, and the elder was Kamel Navigan and Alphonse. But they went off, and he came back, and Kamel says they asked about that, traditional ways and then the Catholic Church. And they were told that it's like putting your feet in two canoes. You're going to fall over and drown. Okay? So anyway, whenever something happens, and this is personal, whenever there's something, a big teaching, or there's something there for me, I feel it right away, right here. I don't have to digest it right away. I don't have to look at it right away. But I know that eventually something will come. And that hit me. And I thought about it. And I thought, I was raised Roman Catholic. Baptized, confirmed, the whole bit. And that was this foot. It's in this canoe. Okay? I began to rediscover who I was. I always knew there was something different, but I began to make that stronger. And that was my foot in our Anishinaabe ways, in the other canoe. But it was this heart that tied those two canoes together. And if you're stupid enough to put your feet in two canoes without tying them together, you deserve to fall over and drown. So it's those kinds of things that I would want to share with our young people. You know, there was a lot of things that they said, and I thought, yeah, we need someone sitting in there with them. Okay? Someone sit there with them. You know, and yesterday, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but I think it was Charles. And we were talking about the spirit warrior. And if the residential school was happening right now, what would your reaction be? Hey, would you just sit back? No, you wouldn't just sit back. Oh boy, you would be out there. Hey? And that's what our young people need to feel too. To grasp that warrior spirit. Because we can use that warrior spirit to protect and to do everything. Okay? That's what we need to grasp. Okay? All of us, each one of us. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Miigwech. I see another hand that was over here. Right? Am I coming in the right direction? Perfect. Am I looking at you? Okay, good. There we go. Morning.
I just wanted to, I know all the youth are not in here, but I wanted to say thank you. When the youth presented their information, they presented what came up as part of a survey. But the power of the youth to flip that around, to be able to put the language and the culture first, they did that. They didn't get direction that they were told it should be important or anything. That was them. And I'm proud that they bring that back because you hear it in all their conversations and everything that they presented here, that the youth are very strong people. One of the first things that came out of the presentation with the youth was that they know we have funds. They know we have funds that they can help guide so it meets their needs. They made it very clear what their needs were. They made it very clear that land-based learning, cultural learnings, language learnings, identity, and helping them become stronger youth and leaders for the future are their priority. I just wanted to thank the youth. I wanted to say how proud I am to see that and to hear that. I think we have a phenomenal future with these leaders coming up. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Anybody else? Don't just think about saying something, say something. Yeah, we see one. We got, I'll go right here first, Fran, and we're going in the back. If there's young people over there just kind of hanging around, I don't know if anybody wants to have them come over, because we are talking about them. Thank you.
Miigwech, yes, I don't think there's any doubt about how awesome that presentation was. And I think we all know about getting up and standing in front there and speaking. One of the things that I was wondering is if that survey that the group did would be shared with the rest of us. And I think there's lots of food for thought there for all of us. And just speaking for myself, I sit on the Board of Governors at Nipissing University. I'm a designate there for Chief Scott McLeod from Nipissing First Nation. So I work there, sit with the Indigenous Council on education and at the board level, and have the opportunity to be in and out of the Office of Indigenous Initiatives there often. And I think I could say pretty safely that at the post-secondary level, colleges and universities, there's also continual work and push to bring Indigenous perspective in, to bring ceremony in, to bring this understanding in. And I would be very happy to take that information that was shared back and to share it with the Indigenous Council on Education, to share it with the Board of Governors and the folks that I have the opportunity to cross paths with, because that support is there too. But again, that work is being done. There's lots of work there. But I think that voice of the youth is so important. And that's what we say. These students now are having a different experience at the elementary and secondary level. And when they get into the post-secondary, they're looking for it. And they're looking for something that's meaningful. As just to quote Chief Scott McLeod, he said, content, not performance. And so they're giving us good direction here. So, miigwech.
Come on over here.
Anin Bojo, Sego Wache, Stan Savin, Dijnakad, Nipissing First Nation. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to all the youth in their presentation. It was awesome from my perspective. I'd like to share a little story about climate change. I've been on the land, I'm going to say 55 years. And I know the land and the territory I come from better than I know Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, or any city. I never get lost in the bush, but I've got lost in the city. I don't understand that, but anyway, it happened. Climate change has affected the territory from where I come from, the trap line that I work for the last 50 years. For example, last year, I've seen no snakes. No snakes at all. I've seen no salamanders and no amagaki, frogs. My grandson and I, James, who's a junior trapper with me, we looked at and wondered why. A lot of ponds and rivers and lakes have either disappeared or lost a lot of water or no water. And water is needed for those reptiles and amphibians to survive and live. And the bears are out now, and they shouldn't be. But they're out walking around looking for food because of the climate change. From my belief. What can we do as individuals to help climate change so that the ozone layer can rebuild itself, to become healthy, to protect Mother Earth, to protect us as human beings, the animals, the reptiles, the amphibians, and so on and so forth, the birds and the flora fauna that we walk upon to pick our medicines. We had a lake, but 3 times the size of this room, totally disappear. And we walked around that pond, that mini lake, and we found a crack about 4 feet wide, about 12 feet long, And it was deep because we threw rock down there. And we could hear it go down, but we couldn't hear it stop. But that pond used to be used by all Mother Nature's animals for water, for growth, to help others. Now it's gone. It was like a sinkhole. Some people call it a sinkhole. And why did it happen? I'm not a geologist, but I do know that the earth shifts at times, and there are faults that below our feet. Teaching my grandson about why, how, when, where, and why in relation to climate change in Mother Earth. You know, instead of driving a mile, let's walk a mile, I say to him. Of course, he carries everything. I just carry myself. But it builds endurance. It builds us as individuals how to take care of Mother Earth. The birds, the robins. Last year, we found a robin's nest, and the shells, the young ones did not hatch because the shells were too brittle and there was not enough covering around the shells for it to hatch. And I blame climate change. How do we, as individuals and as a group and as participants in this room on Mother Earth, help to deal with climate change? I say to my grandson, if you can help yourself, then you can help others in relation to climate change. The Ministry of Natural Resources put a survey out to all 550 trappers in Ontario, how climate change has affected their territory that they trap in relation to forest fires, in relation to disasters, in relation to weather. They're always taking surveys in relation to the mammals or animals that we catch as trappers, and they want a synopsis in relation to what is caught, where it's caught, why it's caught. For example, I have a quota of one fisher on a trap line that's 40 miles long and 20 miles wide. One year we caught 4. We had to explain why. They're called accidental catches. And some people believe in the cycle every 7 years. But the fisher is the top of the food chain in relation to mammals that are below it, like the marten, the squirrel, the weasels. And they have their territory roughly 4 square miles each. Above the fisher is the wolverine. We don't have wolverines in our territory, but they do north of the CN railway line, which is Hornpain area where I come from. Climate change to me has not only affected us, myself personally, and the people that work the land or that are on the land, that live off the land. There is a big change, and you learn to adapt. Another issue I have is clear cutting in relation to climate change. They cut right down to the river or to the lake, and they're supposed to leave 100 meters boundary space, but it doesn't happen. When they see a tree with the circumference of 12 inches or more, that tree is worth about $150. So they go and cut it. But meanwhile, it takes away the protection of all the animals that need those trees for survival, comfort, or a place to live. So I would like to say thank you in relation to what I'm saying. And also I would like to thank the youth. And any way we can support one another, let's do it. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Got a few minutes left for any more comments. We got a few young people that just walked in. I'm coming across. Check out this form. Oh, come on. Got it.
Sorry if I have my back to you guys. It's me again. As if you didn't hear enough of me. So looking at this presentation, being in education for the last 24 years, seeing a lot within my community, trying to keep our children home. Those kids up there are saying it. They're asking for every First Nation to have a JK to 8 school. So to me, we have to listen. And our AES negotiators have a big job on their hands. There should be no reason anymore in this country why we can't keep our children home. Because they are seeking land-based learning. They are seeking culture. They are seeking language. And I don't want to offend our partners of the district school boards and the Ministry of Education, but they haven't been able to accomplish that in a very, very long time. And so how do we flip the story? How do we flip the narrative for our grandchildren, for the next 7 generations? Are we going to be in this room again where they'll be speaking to us and they'll be saying, give us land-based learning, give us language? Are we going to be doing that for the next 25 years? We have to take that responsibility back. That's ours. That's our children. And you know, we have to stop sending them away to receive those teachings and that language in a setting that's not their own. And so my message is to empower and to take back that responsibility. We signed an agreement, 23 communities, and not all of us have schools. But how do we build capacity within the communities? And we can't do it alone. Maybe we need our partnering school boards to help us, because there is 2 worlds. There is balance that we have to achieve. We have to give them the opportunity to learn the Western education. We have to give them the opportunity to learn our language and culture. But in my opinion, the best place to do that is at home. And you know, for our Ontario partners, our school board partners, sometimes it's frustrating because it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We hear the questions, how do I do that in the public school system? How do I do that in an urban environment? And sometimes, no matter how much we speak, it falls on deaf ears. The things that are said in this room have to make it back to those teachers in those systems. They have to make it back to the ones who are with our kids every single day. You've seen the programming we do at Niigaan Nishnabek. You've seen our Moose Camp pictures. And it's heartbreaking when, for a number of years, we've offered the science teachers in our neighboring district school board school to bring our students out there to experience that camp, dissecting, taking apart that moose. It would only make sense that it would fit into a grade 9 biology unit. But for 2 years in a row, that was resisted and not taken upon. And instead, our students came back and said, we missed a quiz during Moose Camp when we attended, a quiz that was worth 80 marks, and now we have to make up for it. That's deaf ears. And our messages need to be taken back. And if the job is still continuously falling at our standards, then we need to take our children back home. So with that, I say miigwech.
Man! Awesome! We're going to wrap our morning here. How's everybody feeling? Yeah! Somebody said tired. Good! Means you're tired because you got work to do, that's why. I was thinking, and I know it's kind of a buzzword in some sessions, in some circles, but when we say it's going to take 7 generations to fix, our young people don't have that time. Neither do I. Neither my kids. Neither my grandkids. Because when we say it's going to take 7 generations, we're all going to be long gone. The young people are going to be gone in spirit world. My grandkids will be long gone in spirit world. My great-grandkids will be long gone in spirit world. We're talking about my great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. That's what we're talking about. And if our partners can find $1 billion to make a road in the bush, to dig a hole in the earth, and find it fast, we can fix these problems. Shouldn't have to wait 24 years. Shouldn't have to wait 50 years. The stuff that we're talking about could be done tomorrow with a new policy. That's it. With people sitting at the right place, sitting at the right table to say, we're not going to stand for it anymore. This is how we're going to do business. Things will change. Should not take 7 generations. Should not take another 24 years. But all we got to do is do something. Look at these young people that were up here this morning. Some of them took massive leaps even just to stand here. These 2 young people, yeah, man. These 2 young children that were sitting here took massive leaps to show you what was an expression in their heart. What I noticed this morning are massive leaps by our children. So in return, they deserve us to leap massively for them. Okay? Going above and beyond for them. And when it's for them, it's our kids too. My kids, they go to private school in Brantford. We're able to provide that support for our kids. We don't live on reserve. But when our kids succeed, who are on reserve, who are back home, we all succeed. Indigenous, non-Indigenous, we all succeed. This country becomes better. This country becomes stronger. This country then begins to fulfill the promise that we're all going to succeed together. We're all going to feast together. That was the original thought that my great-grandfathers heard when they signed Treaty Number 9. Wasn't a mass exodus of resources. It was the fact that we were going to feast together as one. We can still do it. But we need determination. And we need leaps. Because we don't have 7 generations. It could happen now. It could happen in short time. It can happen in short order. Young people inspire me. I'm ready to go. So let's go. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause, man. I'm going to ask Ian McCallum to come on up here, please. We're going to do a prayer in Lenape for lunch. On